for basic terminology, we have item types. Item types are the group of items that share characteristics that we build into CSO. The events can have multiple item types. We also have items, which are the articles that you're sourcing, and items are inside these item types. There are several fields in CSO, but the basic fields that we are going to work with, most of them. Yes, Janine, please.
Will we be able to have a copy of the presentation? I'm just wondering if we need to write all this down or whether we can.
Yes, I'm sharing it with you. No problem. Also, the presentation has some hyperlinks to resources to go deeper into CSO in the Compass portal.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. If you have any questions along the training, please come ahead with them. No, there is no problem with that. So in CSO, we have many items, fields, and the most important and what you are going to work with the most are item fields, which is the information that you will give to the suppliers of your articles, all their characteristics. Bid fields, which is information the suppliers will give you, and also fields that we build based on this information, like alternative cost formulas or many of the rules that we use for scenario analysis, may use of formula bid fields that we build to help us in this process. We have something called item questions, which is information at the item level and supplier level, provided either by the supplier or by the buyer, the owner, or event manager in this case of the event. In these item questions, we have history data, baseline data, or any information, for example, that we get from the questionnaires and we want to use in analysis. And we have RFQ questions, which is information at the supplier level. This is not linked to individual items, but for example, if we want to collect discounts in a higher level, we are going to use RFQ questions. If we want to collect, for example, payment terms, we are also going to use RFQ questions. So, item types, well, as I explained, it's used to describe a set of items with common properties. The simple example is different services that are to be sourced for in the same tender event. In the case of phosphonates, we only have a single item type, phosphonates. In the item definition page, we can also define the cost formula. I'm going to show you later on. But as I said before, this is not the only place where we can configure the cost structure. Actually, many customers regularly use different cost structures because they want to see different approaches in their analysis. So it is doable here in CSO. The items, this is a critical concept of CSO. Items is what you want to source. And in CSO, we can also sell, but that's not something that we are going to see probably in this event, or maybe in the future in a deep dive if we want to see that example, if used overall, but it's also there. The items are always found in the sourcing setup. And as I'm showing you here, this is, for example, an item type and the different fields of the item, which we are going to see in deep later on. As I was telling you, there are several field types in CSO. This is the, let me see here. Oh, sorry. This presentation, when I share it with you, is going to contain these hyperlinks that will allow you to go to the compass and see the different, more in-depth information of what we are seeing here. There is a lot of information here. So yes, uh, for any, if you want to deep dive into what we are seeing here, Compass is the way to go. But CSO also has the several resources in the tool, which I'm going to share with you later. I just wanted to show you the hyperlink. So for field types, we have constants, which is values that don't change. We have FAT fields that is used to store data, historical data. Your raw data is all stored in FAT fields. We have questions, which are the fields that we use in questionnaires in the RF5. This is a specific information that is not used in the analysis unless we do an item question on it. And so it's not part of the negotiation, but can be used with some formulas. We have item fields and bid fields, as I explained before. The RFQ questions, item questions. There are some special fields called analysis fields, which are used to do comparisons between all the information in the related table. So if I'm talking about an item analysis fields, for example, I can compare the information of all the items. The same way for bid fields. If I'm using for an example of a bid analysis field is like a ranking. I can do a rank of all my bids on a single item. CSO has a standard rank, but I can do custom ranks or review any other analysis parameter that I need with bid analysis fields. And we have path analysis fields, which are fields uh, uh, to read data from the event into a fact sheet. To read, for example, information from the bits into a historical data sheet if you do to one even even more complex analysis. Is there any question up to this point? Okay. So it is pretty important to see how the level at which the fields work. What do I mean with this? Item fields holds one value per item. The item fields are independent of the supplier. And as I explained before, this is where all the characteristics of an item are stored. Bid fields are fields that holds data one value per item and supplier. So for a single item, for example, I can have as many bid fields as I have suppliers bidding on this item. Bid fields, as I explained, is not only information we capture from suppliers, but also information that we build with formulas from other bid fields. It is pretty important to understand that I can create a bid field using item information, but I can't create item information using bid fields because of this hierarchy that we have. Item fields, value per item, and bid fields is segregated by supplier. So that's something pretty important that sometimes confuses the users, but with the use of the tool and familiarizing with it, it's pretty easy to understand. I wanted to